Morning. I haven't done just a regular old vlog in so long that I thought it would be cool. And I got the jail PT coming up soon. And actually it's just in 2 days, and it's kind of cool because I'm going to the gym, and I thought people, they're always asking about me going to the gym, and I was like, I'm not dense enough, I'm not Abraham jacked quite enough to make it all about going to the gym, but I can include that. And the guy I'm going to meet today to work out with, Dhayan, a little side of miso, he actually, I met him because I went to the jail PT, which is kind of cool. He's a great guy, and he's absolutely legit, like jacked, huge. So working out with him is good inspiration. I work out fasted because I've been learning some stuff from David Sinclair and all the benefits of intermittent fasting. So there'll be no breakfast. That's been cut out. I used to have all bran, but I'm all packed up here. I'm gonna go to the gym, and then I'm gonna go and have a Japanese lesson for a couple hours, the last one before the test tomorrow. And I'm gonna take you guys all along to see what the date generally is like in the preparation for the test and all the things that I go about, since this is finally a day where I'm doing enough stuff that you might find it kind of interesting. This is like my favorite weather ever. I love this like cool, crisp winter, but the sun like it's golden all day. It's just so beautiful. That lens could be cleaner, but that's all right. One shitty thing though, I come out and yeah, my car is covered with ice, and I forgot my wallet in the house. Why is the wallet important, you may ask? Well, I don't have an ice scraper, so I use this. I use this card to scrape. I should probably get that upgrade. That is, as my father would say, cold as a witch's tit. Okay. Handling the gimbal, packing the bag, doing it all. This is living in the countryside of Japan. Have a great sleep. Have a good sleep, and all will reveal itself to you. Oh, is it colder in the car? There was no way that I was going to be able to get up in time. You want to know how you're going to the gym frequently and you've got a balanced diet? When you've got leftover sweet potato chunks sitting in your car, just for getting those good healthy carbs. We're already having technical difficulties. Battery's dying. That's one shitty thing about these cameras, the A series. They're notoriously bad. They run out so fast. I have like 12 batteries. I found a good deal on Amazon. It's gonna be awesome meeting up with old Dhayan, because he's real dench. Guy is genetic beast lobster swole. I say it's because he's shorter than me, and that's the only reason he's had success, but that's really just fear talking, and I'm hiding from the truth that the man works out enough to get really, really good results. This is a part of living in the countryside, not dench men like Dan, but that you have to go so far for your gym, and that it can be expensive. Because my gym before I found this one, it was like $140. It had an onsen, so that's amazing. It's good to have an onsen. But now there's an Anytime Fitness that opened up, and it's $70, so it's like way cheaper. You gotta search for better stuff. Another benefit, pro tip, pro benefit. That's gorgeous. Let's look out there for a second.
So something that's really cool about my gym, these Anytime Fitnesses, is that they're open 24 hours, and where we're trying to be extremely conscientious of the fact that we're going to film there today. The staff is not always there, and so that's one, A, we're going early because we don't want to piss people off and hopefully it's empty, and B, there's no staff there, so there's no one really to care about what it is that we're doing. So that's sweet as well. So coming up here, living in the countryside as I do. That's the big theme of this video, right? What it's like living in the countryside. This is the biggest shopping center that's near to me, and it's absolutely tiny. there's almost nothing there. You got a Daiso, that's handy. You got your like Kasumi, that's a place that you would like shop for groceries. There's a 24-hour coin rondori that you can go to here. Even a McDonald's, as I've said in previous videos, for getting fat, but there's not a lot. I came out here for the job. The job's really, really good. I would like to, in the near future, if people follow on all the like live streams, I say all, there was one. I'm gonna be doing software development. That's what I'm gonna work for. Great new challenge, new horizon to go over the top of, which I think will be really cool. For the next 9 months that takes you. And then some like amazing things in the future. If I really like buckle down and do this, it won't be life in the countryside for that much longer. But it's really important with these things because this has been one of the best jobs I've ever had. The people out here are amazing. They pay you well. It's really good. I don't want to be ungrateful. I am. And you don't want to look back on a period of life where you're like, if I wasn't enjoying it, why was I even alive at this point? I just realized something. I'm really OCD today. Across the street there on that white sign, you probably can't quite see it, but on that white sign over there, that is the kanji for advertisement, and I'm remembering it, but I can't remember the word. It's like kokugo or something like that. One more day of study before the test tomorrow, so very, very exciting. Cool. I did a project recently with my grade 6s, and they're pretty reticent to learn English at this point. There's a lot of complex things on their mind growing up, but we did this introduction of a prefecture in Japan, and they were write about things that you could do there, things that you could eat there, and I was struck by, when I was young, you would never catch me interested in fall leaves. For some God knows reason, so many of the kids were like choosing places, and like the number one thing that they said that you could enjoy while you were there were the koyo. And the koyo are the fall leaves. And I was like, wow, that's, you know, they may not like English that much, but they certainly have a developed cultural aesthetic that they at like age 11 are like, the reason I want to go here is to enjoy the fall leaves. Maybe that's a countryside kid thing. So maybe you guys remember Dhayan, a side of miso, from the Countryside Crisis. So we're being a little less intense about our subject material today. We're coming to get Abraham jacked to get Dench in Japan. Would you say your channel is like a fitness channel now? What would you call it?
Actually, no. It started off as a Japan channel.
Okay.
And then I made some fitness videos.
You did well.
We did quite well, so it's a mix of both actually.
Yeah.
If you're interested in Japan, or fitness in Japan, or just fitness, check out the channel.
Check out the channel. All that'll be down below as per the usual. But yeah, I'm going on the pain tour today with Dan, as he's much more beast than I am. I'm gonna kind of follow along. That's why this video, I'm not making this like it was a fitness specific video. That's his video. I'm here for the ride. We'll see how it goes. So now what are we hitting first, Dan?
Deadlifts.
Deadlifts.
Yeah, I always start that workout with deadlift because it is the most taxing exercise for your back. So use much of your energy on deadlifts and then use what's left on sort of other exercises. Some people do it the other way. I prefer to do it this way.
I feel like this would avoid injury.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
Yeah, the reasoning being, you're
yeah.
like, if you do this when you're fatigued, then you're just asking to like snap your shit up.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah.
So I went up for my final. I did 120. Alternate grip makes it easier for me. Now Dan's gonna go for 150. Way heavier. But he's feeling good. We're confident. Nobody's gonna snap this shit up. Next up, we're coming over to the rows. We're gonna do seated cable rows
With this wide grip.
with a wide grip. Real wide. Something, again, I rarely do. So it's good to train with someone, get new ideas.
Upper back for Sarah.
Upper back, so you can swirl across the top like you want to. All right, going in for the first set here. We're doing arms. We're gonna do curls.
Barbell curls.
Okay, classic.
I hate training biceps. Probably the worst muscle.
I would pull a little variation for this if it's just straight up curls that I think you'll quite like. Yeah.
Show me.
Okay, and so concludes the Wicked Workout. Thank you very much, sir. That was awesome.
It really was.
We'll have to do it again.
Yeah.
And now it's on to my Japanese lesson, so we're gonna go check that out. The last stop in before the JLPT tomorrow. You're not doing the JLPT this time, are you?
No, I'm not.
Lazy bastard.
Yeah, I know. I got scared and didn't bother.
But he's N2. He's N2, so it's a little more challenging than what I'm up to. What are you doing now?
Going to today,
Yeah.
now. I'm gonna get some food
Right on.
from the supermarket, and then I don't think I'm tall enough for this. Look, I'm like down here, and then just head home. Shower, change,
Wicked.
and then go get some food afterwards.
Life in the countryside.
Indeed,
It continues.
Indeed, it continues.
All right, man.
Braki.
Again.
Brother.
That was good. Catch you later.
What's that?
Peace.
Chest and shoulders.
Chest and shoulders. So that was absolutely awesome. I have, when I'm really ambitious, I have 2 Japanese lessons a week. I have one on Wednesdays, sort of like my official, and then there's this community center one that I go to on Saturdays. Both are very intense, but this one I will sometimes skip because it's not specifically focused to the test I'm doing, but I'm piling it on this weekend, so we're gonna go and have a great time studying. The teacher is awesome. Okay, so I'm about 5 minutes late. I gotta hurry. Graham, my buddy's here. We'll get his verdict. It's usually pretty intense, and he has a bunch of coffee whenever he comes here to focus a bit harder. So we'll see how he's feeling at the halftime point.
ハンサムですが、取ってトリッピング。
Perfect. Yes. Hi.
Tripping.
Trippin. Shorten. Mijikai. Hi.
あ、そうなんだ。すごい。じゃあ、
で、動画。
動画。僕が映っている動画が一つ。
わかりました。Do you remember? 覚えてる？
The sentence are
映ってるのが
I don't remember.
動画が一つあります。
Wait, 映っている
動画。
動画が一つ。
オッケー。
Hey, bravo!
ブラボー。
よろしいでしょうか。はい、よろしいです。はい、お願いします。
そうです。よろしいですっていうのはちょっと偉そうになっちゃう。
Right, we finished the first half. It's separated into halves, and like usual, I'm getting the absolute shit kicked out of me. Graham, what's your verdict? How are you doing?
大変。
Taihen dana. And now, this class only cost about 500 yen, and then they actually have this tea break that we can go to. So it's incredible value. You're basically, if you eat enough, you're making back your money.
Eat a lot of chips.
これを開けてもらえますか。はい。
すごいスプレッドです。いいね。
もしかして YouTube 撮ってんの？やだ。
美人です。美人です。
ありがとう。
So today's been really hard. It's no coffee break, like I was saying, but never give up. I think fewer things will you find that to be more true than in language, because it's this endless mountain. I don't think there's any point where you'll run out of that feeling. Like, I've been studying like crazy, haven't come to this class. This class is quite high level, and where I felt like you study so much and you're like, there's not a single other word that I could possibly have to learn. And then I come here today and I know none of the grammar. There's been like a new word every second word, and it's just brutal. But keep a sense of humor about it. Realize that will never stop, and that's the way it is for everybody. So if you're struggling, everybody's struggling. It's fine. Okay, so now back to the house. And the next order on the agenda is a gentleman who got a hold of me, and he wanted to kind of ask me some questions about work and jobs in Japan, because he's designing, I think it's some kind of software for getting people's resumes worked out in the Japanese format, which can be a little bit different. I actually know very little about that, but I don't turn people down when they say they want to have a chat with me, so I'm going to do that. And then following that, Dean, who has not been on the channel in a while, has agreed to come over, and we're going to do the first podcast where I actually have a guest on, which will be sweet, so you guys can kind of see how I get that set up, but this time with the guest. So I'm dying a little bit here. I'm doing I think I said in the morning, the intermittent fast. And so I haven't eaten until just now, and I've not had very much. It's been a busy day. I figured I'd give you guys a little brief look at the setup. We have Dean here today joining us.
Hello.
Yes.
As he's about to fall over your sofa.
Don't do that. This is, yeah, you guys seen it before. Let's do the walk around the studio. Basically, I don't have a studio, and I have to make do. Don't worry, it's not that wide angle. Yeah. So this is, the setup basically. It's gonna be a little tighter in here today since Dean is joining us, but that shouldn't be a problem. I got my like super ghetto but incredibly affordable like lighting that I've done with this like soft lamp, and then like a $50 $50 LED light that I put in the back, and then diffuse the light with this thing. It's actually, if you want good lighting but don't want to have to break the bank, it's a great solution. And then you just buy one of these little stands that I have here. So yeah, we're gonna set this up and do the podcast, which of course is separate from this video that I'm recording today. But I figured I would show you guys what that looks like as we get it going. So we'll set things up, and then we'll start the podcast, and we'll cut it there, but then we'll come back, and I'll show you guys what we do for dinner and stuff. It's a day in the life, right? So we're doing everything. Okay, so this is how we're going to end up doing the podcast today. Of course, the podcast is a different video from the video that you're watching now. So that will be actually up on the channel before this is done live. So it's a bunch of weird things happening with the time continuum, but let's move on. So I thought it best, if I'm going to talk about a day in the life living in the Japanese countryside, for me, then obviously that's going to include what I eat at the end of said day. And if I'm going to the gym, like I'm going to the gym with Dhayan or by myself or with other friends, then abs are made in the kitchen, as they say. So I try and eat as healthy as I can if I'm not like on a weekend where I'm doing a cheat meal or something. And that includes the usual, like you might expect kind of stuff, which is simple green veg, lots and lots of just like chicken breast, shoga or ginger, little ninniniku, actually a lot of garlic. And I love these little red peppers because they add a little bit of spice. This has slowly evolved over time as I've tried to make it less and less boring, because the more boring it is, the less likely you're going to be able to consistently consume that for a long, long period of time. When you got like a little bit of salt, I learned from my friend you want to use just olive oil, because if you get extra virgin, that has a much like, what would it be, lower temperature at which it burns. So go with olive oil if you're just doing your everyday cooking. It's super healthy, and you're not seeing a lot of carbs here, and that's because I do, in emergency cases, have the sweet potatoes, but when I usually eat those to prevent myself from going absolutely insane is when I finish the gym, there's the kasumi or whatever, the supermarket next to me, and I would go there, and you can pick them up pre-baked. And I usually have, like, I eat them in thirds or I eat them in quarters because they're so calorically dense. That's all you need. And they're a great way to finish your workout off and then have that so you don't go nuts. Like, I live about 40 minutes away from my gym, so I need calories, once again, at some point near or before I have dinner, because it prevents you from feeling so hungry that you then binge eat, which is always, that's a big thing that as I've kind of honed and optimized my my nutritional habits and my working out, that it's been huge, is to never ever so leave yourself in such a calorie deficit that you become tempted to make some really, really bad choices. That's so easy to do when you're really, really hungry. So this is it. I'm gonna throw it together, and usually it takes me no more than, say, something like, call it 10 minutes, 15 minutes, which is great. You can repeatedly do that every single night and not have it consume too much of your time. First things first, I always start with my ninniniku, and I'm probably using well more of this than I actually need, but the truth is I love it so much and it's so nutritious that who cares if I use it in a little bit of excess. I think of it this way, if I didn't have any breakfast in the morning, if I have a couple of extra delicious cloves of garlic at the end of the day in my eating window, you're fine, you're gonna be fine. So now that I've done the most basic prep, which is essentially, not sure if I can get that all the way in there. Yeah, it's the red chili peppers, the ginger, and the garlic. Now that that's basically done, I will put in a little bit of the olive oil into the pan, and then while that's heating up, I chop the chicken for maximum efficiency. And then by the time I'm done that, the pan is usually heated up and it's good to go. I've been doing this, making the same thing so many times that it's kind of intuitive. Just as the garlic starts to go brown, I know that the chicken is basically cooked at that point, and I pull it out. That's all. Just pull it out. I stopped cooking it. Am I going to be making any actual cooks jealous of my abilities? No, I'm not. They're probably going to find it pretty funny. But for someone who's more basically concerned about eating healthy, I think I do a pretty good job. And once I've completed this, then here's a little pro tip. If you're somebody who struggles with, you drink way too much soda and pop, that's never particularly something I struggled with, but I do like them, and I feel like the fizzy waters, the sui soda, are like a great alternative where you still get that carbonation, which is really nice, but you're not pumping your body full of sugar 24/7. So I'm gonna chill out, eat this, and then probably get down to editing something else. And that's how I would finish my day off, do a little laundry, kind of a bunch of adulting. So thanks very much for watching this video. Thanks very much to Dan for coming out to work out with me. If you enjoyed it, please do caress the like button and set up your notifications so whenever anything uploads, you will be made aware. Please do consider supporting me on Patreon, because that is how I one day go full-time and can actually do this, dedicate myself entirely to this passion. You guys are wonderful. I appreciate you very much. Hope to see you in the comments down below. Merry, merry ho-hos to you. Christmas is rapidly approaching.